What was your question? What was your question? What was your question?
Alright, so I guess time to get started with the broadcast. So let me adjust some sound settings and then we'll be good to go. So we're getting into Group E of the Allinvitational qualifiers. In this group we have White Ninja, Tool, and then we also have Milo and Siege. So first match could be between Tool and White Ninja. Just one sec there. Right. Right. There we go. So getting into this first game, we have down here in the bottom left side of the map, we have in the pink, plain Protoss, it is White Ninja. And up in the top right, we have in the purple playing Zerg, it is Tool. Both these guys have been in All-In for quite some time, actually. Tool streams a lot, and he casts some of our Clan Wars once in a while. He's always streaming. Pretty cool guy. He's, I believe, Diamond 2, maybe Diamond 1. It's going to be quite a tough match for him, though, as his opponent is White Ninja, who is a High Masters Protoss. I believe he's Masters 1. So, sorry. Both these players are just going for kind of standard stuff right now. Hatch pool from Tool. And on the other side of the map, looks like White Ninja is just going to be going for a Gateway Fast Expand. So, nothing too crazy. I mean, I feel like White Ninja is really not, he's really not going to be encouraged to do anything too aggressive in this series. Just because I think he probably feels like he has a significant advantage over Tool. So obviously if you have such a good advantage over your opponent in terms of your skill and your game knowledge and whatever, probably best to just kind of play it standard, play it safe. Because especially in ZVP, I feel like this is definitely a matchup that you can just straight up lose to a lot of early game shenanigans from the Zerg player. There's so many Baneling busts and like link timings that we see nowadays. Definitely a lot harder to get through that early game TVP or ZVP, sorry, than it really used to be for the Protoss. So we'll have to see what Tool does. He didn't go for anything too early, as he just did go for a hatch first, but of course that doesn't tell us what's going to happen later. Any number of Ling Floods or Bane busts or what have you that could come out in a couple minutes here. And White Ninja has scouted. He's going with an adept to follow this up, so we're just going to continue to get some scouting information done and following this up with a Stargate. So, again, very standard. It's pretty much what we see in like 90% of the ZVPs is that Stargate play. Let's see. So first adept out on the map here. And the first adept's always so nice for the Protoss and ZVP. Just lets you know what's coming your way. And most of the time, you're probably not going to lose this. And if you do, then you really know what's coming. And you can prepare, hopefully, back at home. And so he's going to shade into the main. He only sees the 4 lings, which is, of course, what you want to see. You only want to see the, like, maybe 4 to 6 lings. And White Ninja actually going for a Phoenix first. So very conservative. And Tool actually going to lose 2 Overlords here. This is actually really big in this early game to lose 2 Overlords. Especially before like 5 or 6 minutes. Like, to lose 2 of them, that's a lot of money at the start. He could have bought himself a whole new expansion pretty much with that 200 minerals. And he's going to lose more because there is Phoenix on the map. So actually a pretty big mistake from Tool right off the bat. It's unfortunate that he had those Overlords there. I guess he wasn't paying attention to them. And it's very easy to do. You know, sometimes you just kind of send your Overlords across the map because you want to see some stuff. And then you lose them because you weren't paying attention or, you know, what have you. And gonna lose a 3rd one here, so pretty unfortunate. Luckily though, this Overlord will show him that this was a Stargate opener. And he knows Phoenix are a possibility. And multiple, in fact. A lot of Protoss players will just stop at 1. And then get a couple of Oracles to follow it up to go for some drone kills. But looks like White Ninja actually opting for Mass Phoenix style here, as he is going for 2 Stargates. So this is something that's been catching on in popularity for a bit here. A lot of Protoss players deciding to do this like Mass Stargate style versus Zerg. It's just a really nice way to put on a lot of pressure in the early game. And you can keep yourself safe from a lot of roach openings with this. If they go for roaches, you can just pick off a lot of them on the way there. And just overall very safe. So he's Phoenix actually going to get this Queen. As there are spore crawlers in the bases, so it's going to be a bit harder for him to go for drones. And luckily, looks like Tool is going to remake some of these queens that he's going to lose here. And he has a Baneling that's coming up here. That's something we don't normally see around the 5-minute mark. You kind of see those a bit earlier if they're going to go for a Baneling bust, I think. Maybe this is timed out at a specific time, I'm not sure. Obviously, my Zerg knowledge might be showing here, because I don't really play Zerg. And he's getting a couple Banelings, but they're all the way across the map. I'm not sure if this is just... maybe he thinks, like, something's coming. Or maybe he just likes to morph them at home, I don't know. Okay, so Dropper Lords are gonna be used here. That's... I'm not quite sure how much I like that, especially since we've already seen so many Phoenix. I feel like this could just be an easy cleanup for a couple of these Phoenixes. Wouldn't it be cool if you could make Overlords mixed with Banelings into like some type of like Scourge? Like if you just, when the Overlords blow up, if they have Banelings inside, it just does like AoE. So you can just fly them into Phoenix. And yeah, this is going to be super unfortunate. Not only did that entire Overlord go down with all those Lings, but Drop Lords are pretty expensive. Yeah, that would probably not be cool for Protoss players. I'm sure they would absolutely hate that. I think everyone would hit that. Can you imagine, like, to stop drops as a Zerg, you just make, like, Baneling Overlords over here. Terran flies his medevacs in, they all get killed to, like, 8 Banelings. Yeah, I'll keep my move shit from now on. But yeah, these Phoenix are coming in here. They're going to pick off a couple Queens right away. And that's pretty annoying here for Tool, as looks like he did want to go for a Ling Bane drop of some variety. But pretty much going to be entirely cleaned up here. Right, Roach Speed on the way. A lot of Lings, but White Ninja has been dotting his T's, crossing his I's, as they say. And we have a lot of shield batteries here, so that will give a lot of time here for Tool to defend this. And I think Tool had a plan going into this, I feel, with those Overlords. But the style here from White Ninja kind of just countered him. And I think now he kind of doesn't really know what to do. It really sucks when you want to go for a specific style and then your opponent just like counters it. Especially if you've been practicing this a lot. Like, you don't want to change that because you've been practicing for so much. You know, maybe there's a universe in which those Overlords get out. But it's not going to be this universe. And a lot of Overlords going down here, and Tool's really hurting here. This game 1 looking pretty devastating here. Now just White Ninja just gonna kill everything here. Those Overlords are gonna die too, they're flying right to their death. White Ninja not even looking over here, and these Phoenix are getting kills. Oh god, this is so rough. Literally 6 Overlords left on the map, 5. Where's the rest of them? 3 of them are here. And 2 of them are over here. Yeah, you could just pick off all the Overlords. God. This is not going well for Tool. Ouch. This is... picking up drones with Phoenix has got to be one of the most satisfying feelings in the game. For the Protoss, at least. And yeah, these Phoenix sets have so much energy. They're going to continue to just slaughter everything here. Finally, a couple of Hydros do pop out, but they are not going to live very long. These Phoenix are pretty good. Tool's just so strapped for cash. He can barely afford to get all of these Hydralisks. He's almost out of money. And almost out of supplies. He's going to continue to need more and more Overlords. And he's also hasn't been getting upgrades either. And it looks like White Ninja here almost on 2-2 off of 3 bases here. And he's just pretty well entrenched. I really don't feel like there's any way Tool can come back after suffering such huge losses like what we got here. I guess this doesn't bring up the control shift. Yeah, but I guess you can just see from like the units lost tab. Like, look at that. That is absolutely crazy. 5,000 resources lost to 800. Phoenix are just so dang good. I'll tell you what. And White Ninja could probably just move across the map here whenever he feels like it. But I guess even though White Ninja's been in this clan a while, like White Ninja's been here since the not the Discord, the Hip Chat days, which was years and years ago. But he's not always the most active player. Like, he doesn't really keep up with everything. I mean, there's a lot to keep up with, to be honest. But he might not even know who Tool is, to be honest. Like, he might have no clue really what this guy's skill is like, especially if he didn't check out his profile before the game. So, you know, it's completely understandable why you might want to just play a bit safe. Or even if he does understand that Tool's significantly or not as good as he is, like, might just be letting him try his hand in a macro game here. Because it does feel crappy when you play versus someone a lot better than you and you just get killed in like 2 seconds flat. Finally, Tool going for some upgrades here, getting his +1 missiles here, but looks like White Ninja will finally be heading out. It's quite a lot of Templars, a lot of charge lots, and some Archons. No Immortals with this, but realistically, like, as long as you have Stormy and some Zealots, you don't really need the Immortals. It's kind of it's something you really only need to deal with lots of roaches in the early game. But once you got those Storms, charge lots, Archons, like, you know, I think you can kind of cut out the Immortals a bit. Or at least you don't need as many of them. But I feel like from the position that White Ninja's in, he really doesn't need to worry too much. Run back coming in here towards the 3rd base while White Ninja is engaging on creep there. Looks like we will see the engagement here. A couple of Banelings going off on these Zealots. Getting some decent connects there, but here the High Templars will come up to help in the fight. And they actually don't have Storm researched. I guess White Ninja forgot that. Yeah, you can see he tried to storm the army and he goes back home and he's like, wait, what the hell? He's researching Storm finally. But luckily for him, he can just morph those into Archons. And his army's just super dominating here. Not a lot that Tool can do. He only has a couple of Hydralisks. They're getting force fielded out here. A lot of these roaches are going to pop out, but I think this is just way too much Protoss here for Tool to deal with at the moment. He is picking off a couple of these Archons, so maybe with some reinforcements here, Tool can hold on. He's doing a lot better here than I thought he would be. Killing off a lot of units here. It's actually crazy. I'm surprised that Tool survived that. And he didn't really take that many drone losses, but to be honest, he didn't really have many drones in the first place. But that's a lot of units gone. And it looks like 10 High Templars morphed in at a time. White Ninja needs a lot more gateways off of his 5 base. But even though Tool did manage to wipe out a large portion of the army here, like, you can just see White Ninja is able to remax really really easily here. It's not really hurting for money at the moment. It's actually hurting on production. He needs some more gateways if he wants to make use of this huge bank he has, or at least get some Stargates or something out. Okay, so he's getting a couple more gateways. And these Phoenix are doing a great job here, just continuing to kill everything they can find. Killing all of the Hydralisks here, and they're going to move right onto those roaches. Finally, we see some lurkers coming in here for Tool, but looks like White Ninja does not want to see those finish morphing. He's going to pick everything up here and continue to kill it. This is like, these Phoenix are seagulls, and all the Zerglings are like baby turtles on the beach. This is just awful. They're trying to hatch from their eggs, and the seagulls are just killing them all. White Ninja has this pretty big army right here. Definitely feel like he's not going to be in a bad position in this game anytime soon, as his upgrades are almost fully complete, and I believe Tool's only on +1. Yeah. So things are looking extremely rough for Tool. He's broke. He has no army. He has no upgrades. He has no bases, etc., etc. But you know what? Resources lost tab is evening up a bit. It's only 2-1 right now. It was like 8-1 before this. Maybe if Tool just takes the best trades humanly imaginable, then he could win. And finally we see the production here from White Ninja just exploding. This looks like a base you see in the campaign. There's just so many buildings everywhere. And no bases here from Tool. He is finally expanding down to the bottom a bit. And his drone count is kind of back up. He's at 71 drones right now. But he really doesn't have a huge army here. And these zealots are going to get to work on this hatchery. Probably going to take this down. Maybe even get that lurker down as well. Units here from Tool are moving in to try to finish these zealots off. But lurker den does go down. Now these zealots here is going to trade versus all these units of Tool. Tool actually has a decently sized army, even in supply with his Protoss opponent. But a lot of these are in roaches, so like the supply is a bit deceiving there. Plus, the upgrades are hugely in favor of White Ninja. So finally, all the Phoenix is going to get picked off. So I guess that's something there for Tool. But he's got more air units to worry about than Phoenix right now, as his carriers are on the way. Don't believe we have any of the army just yet. No. And this army is actually not that intimidating. There's no real punch to it, you know? Oh, I guess there's an immortal. There's a punch. There's 2 punches. And that's a decent amount of Roach Hydra. If some good storms get landed, though, that's really going to be the end of the line here for Tool, I feel. Keep hitting Control Z by accident. I meant to hit it the first time, but the second 2 times I did not. And these lurkers getting cleaned up immediately before this fight. Pretty big storms going down on this Roach Hydra army here. And looks like they're trading okay at best, but just these storms completely obliterating the entire army here from Tool. And you might have even seen those carriers on the way. GG, well played is called. White Ninja gonna take game number 1. So we're going to be moving on to our second game here in a sec. I just have to log all the way back in. Because, like usual, I wait till the last minute to cast any of these. And then they're in a new patch, so I have to log in and out every single time. Oops. Where did I even type that? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. But I'm used to it by now. So we're going to be going into game 2 between Tool and White Ninja here in a sec. Alright. So we have down here in the bottom right side of the map, we have in the pink, plain Protoss it is, White Ninja. And up in the top left, we have in the purple plain Zerg, it is Tool. How do you do that? Got it. I was casting with some guy the other day, and he told me how to do to like flip your camera like spinning, but now I can't remember. Oh well, I'll look it up later. I don't really care too much because I think it looks kind of like I don't know. I think it's like the WCS casters do it well, but I feel like if I did it, it would just I don't know look dumb. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Thank you for the suggestion on Miracle, also known as Big Igor, also known as Igor, also known as Igor Modeler. You have a lot of nicknames, dude. Alright, another game where both players are just doing standard stuff for now. So, not a whole lot to talk about. I'd really like to see something really aggressive at a Tool, though. I think if he looks... Maybe he looks at this and thinks, like, okay, I'm just going to show my best game that I can. Which is always fine. Like, it's really... It is fun to watch the players improve over time. Like, I think... When Tool first joined the clan, I can't remember what rank he was. I think he might have been like Platinum or something. But I remember like just watching his games back then and comparing up to now, and he's gotten a hell of a lot better. Same with a lot of people in the clan. It's nice watching their growth. As weird as that might sound. But you know, maybe he's just coming into this trying to play his best game and learn a bit from White Ninja. It's always nice to have just games versus people that are a lot better than you. Because they can crush you, and then you learn something. But I think, you know, sometimes if you're in this player position, you need to think about what can I do to win? And this is what we need to do to win. Baneling nests. We need the Baneling bust. I don't want to see drops. I just want to see Banelings. And I want him to smash into this wall right over here, and then Zerglings flooding through. I think he could maybe take a game if he did something like that. White Ninja will probably end up skipping this, I believe, if he sends... I don't know how long the shade takes. Okay, it's back up now. So we can probably see that. Let's see where that... Fuck, I didn't get to click on it in time. Will he shade into the main? No. I believe he did see that huge chunk of Zerglings, so like that is a huge giveaway. What is White Ninja gonna do about this though? A lot of Lings and Banes coming in here. That Overlord is gonna get shoot away. There is... Oh, he does have 2 shield batters, so that was gonna be really good. He does see all these Lings out here if they add up, so now he should know. Okay, it's time to freak out. Tool really needs to pull these Zerglings away. Oh, one of them got in somehow? What the hell? I think he could just run through. I don't think that's pulled off right. How the hell's... Because one of the Zerglings ends up getting there. But anyways, yeah, Banelings are on the way here. So he should be able to burst down some of this wall here, but really well positioned units here from White Ninja. These Banelings are going to try to bust through here, but they're not all coming in at once, and if they all come in incrementally, then the shield batters will be able to heal everything. A little hole in the wall, some of these Zerglings and Banelings are slipping through. Banelings are trying to run for the probes, but I don't think they're going to get too many of them. They really need to just take out the units here, and all of them crash into one Adept. But that's just not going to cut it. A lot of these Zerglings are just getting completely cleaned up by these Lings. And just look at that. That is a super sick defense here from White Ninja. Not losing a single unit once the attack began. He lost the 1 Adept out there, but he kept every single unit alive after that. He built just enough shield batters to deal with this. And I think Tool kind of didn't engage right. Like, I think he needed to hit all the units with the Banelings as quickly as he could, and then try to get surrounds on the few remaining ones. Because his biggest issue was that he's constantly bleeding off Zerglings and Banelings to all these Adepts and Stalkers. I think he just needed to clean them up, and then try to flood in with more and more. He's getting some decent Baneling connects here. More Banelings coming in here. Gonna try to force their way through, but I think at this point he's just lost too many Lings, and that he just won't be able to find an opening now. And if an Oracle on the way, that should clean up pretty much any more Ling aggression that we might want to see out of Tool here. He's gonna keep trying though. If it doesn't work, just try again. He did get a decent fight last time with those units outside of the wall, so I could definitely see why he would keep going. Sometimes it just takes a couple tries, and then your Baneling Bust will work. Especially a lot of these shield batters are getting fairly low on energy. They don't have a full charge, whatever you want to call that. But there's a couple of Oracles out here, and Oracles do very, very well versus Zerglings. We don't even see any Banelings morphed here. He has enough money for a couple of them. Where's Tool going now? Maybe going home? Looks like he was trying to take that expand, but that probe did block it off. Very annoying. And it's just had a bit of injury on top of everything here. These Oracles do get into the main and kill a couple of drones. Looks like 4 in total so far. That one Oracle literally has 1 HP, holy crap. Where's the Queen? Why are they both at the natural? If that Queen was doing her job instead of chatting, she could have killed that Oracle. Someone needs to fire that Queen. It's negligence. Alright, and a big fight going to come down here. A lot of these Zerglings getting a pretty decent surround on a lot of this Protoss army, but is there too much here for Tool to deal with? He doesn't have any Banelings, so he's not going to be able to really deal with this huge clump of units. And Adepts just do really well versus Zerglings. I don't know what else to say. I think maybe Tool can get a cancel on this third base, but he's just going to be trading so much to do it. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it. Lings come in here. Not even targeted on the base itself, just trying to kill some of these pylons. That is a lot of Adepts. And you do have a couple of Banelings, but versus split Adepts, Banelings are really not very effective. They really need to hit that huge chunk or huge clump of units there, but they don't really get it off. And more Adepts being warped in will save this base. And that is a lot of Oracles. Oops. And he's actually just going for Mass Oracle at this point. Honestly, not a bad idea, given that his opponent's only making Zerglings. And looks like he might just kill the space straight up. God, remember when this was meta? What a horrible time to be alive. Ouch. So that base does get cleaned up, and these Oracles are just going to focus on everything that gets in their path. GG's called. And Tool is going to tap into this game. And White Ninja going to take a 2-1 victory there. Alright, so we're going to be going into our next series, which is going to be between Milo and Siege. I think this will be the first time I've actually seen Milo play. And quite familiar with Siege's play. He defeated me in a very honorable best of 13 show match. Just barely. Alright, now time to start off this best of 3. Gonna start off in the top left. It's our Protoss player. That is Milo. And in the bottom right, we have our blue Terran player. It's gonna be Siege. This will probably be a much more evenly matched series, I hope. I think Milo's like Diamond 1, Masters 3. Maybe even higher than that, I'm not sure. Siege going for a gas first. I know Siege likes to play pretty aggressive, so I wouldn't be surprised to see. He doesn't really like. When I say aggressive, I don't mean like all ins, but like more like he really likes to drop. He likes to just harass. But I'm not sure how commonly he's gonna do an all in or a timing push here. Probably just gonna see some like aggressive kind of like harassment based builds here. And going for the gas first definitely lends itself to that. You might even see a factory before the command center. Alright, and Reaper first here, so... I'll have to see if we see Reaper fast expand or if we see factory into the fast expand. Not a whole lot going on here. He would, if he came all the way in here, he would see that his opponent is just now getting the second gas. So probably nothing too crazy here from Milo. And there's going to be a Reaper fast expand. No factory just yet. Alright. And let's see if we have the timing for an aggressive build here. So the gas is coming down just now, so I think this could be a Cyclone push. Maybe a 2 Cyclone, 2 Hellion, or just 4 Cyclones. It could even just be a 2 Cyclone drop, we see that. Not a whole lot in this matchup, but overall I would say that's a common build. It's not too unsafe. And this Reaper will come in here. We don't see any tech just yet. We'll have enough gas for it now, but he's probably gonna wait until that Reaper dies before he plants down whatever he has in mind. Unless it's a Stargate, which... Alright, so Milo has the money for his tech, but what's he gonna choose? Not choose 90... Okay, there we go. Finally a robo facility on the way. Okay. Not a very common opening. Especially since, like, Widow Mine drops are so much less common. Yeah, and it looks like we will have a couple Cyclones coming out here. Not sure. And it is going to be 2 Hellions to follow that up. So this is a pretty common build. Very standard, I would say, in PvP right now. And just overall very safe. But if his opponent gets out an Immortal before he's able to... before the Cyclones hit across the map here, this can be pretty deadly for him. As Immortals do take out a huge chunk of the health of some Cyclones. Milo should see the Cyclones heading across the map. And I think this could actually get a decent amount of damage done. This is going to pick off the setup pretty much immediately. We do have a shield battery started. So with this build, it's not really that critical to kill the Stalkers. That's actually really good of him getting that shield battery. Kind of needs to pull back here. These Hellions are coming up here, and they should get some decent shots off, but those shield batteries there, they're drained of energy, so it means that these Hellions are going to be able to get quite a few probe kills here. God. 7 going down in total so far. Actually doesn't have these Hellions targeted. I feel like he could have gotten a lot more there. Another one going to go down. And that was some decent harassment there. Siege targets that. Oh, that was really nice targeting on that last probe, getting every bit of efficiency that he can. And back at home, he has 3 barracks. We don't see a starport just yet or a 3rd base, so he's probably going to follow this up with another push. And this is going to be a pretty aggressive game here from Siege. Most Terrans would get a 3rd command center behind this. If you're going for a macro play, like you want that 3rd command center coming in behind this. Unless you expect your opponent is doing something aggressive, then obviously it's preferable to have more racks. But overall, you kind of want that third command center. Especially if you're going to get siege tanks like this too. Like, I feel like it's so safe to take a third CC behind the amount of damage that he got done there. As long as he gets some tanks and some missile turrets, he's going to be completely fine. And his opponent's not even going for anything aggressive here, as he only has Robo Facility. A Twilight Council just now finished, so Blink is going to be on the way, but it's going to be quite a ways off. It's not going to be really a threat anytime soon. And the first observer is going to come across the map and see what is up on Siege's side. But this siege tank push actually, I think that's what's going to come out is the siege tank push, because he's continuing to produce tanks. And normally, you don't really want that many tanks in TVP. Like, some players like to get tanks in their composition, that's fine. I personally actually really like getting tanks. But I think a lot of the more meta Terrans right now don't really like getting siege tanks in TVP that much, as like just like a general rule of thumb. Like, they wouldn't get them if they didn't have to. Or they can be really good with any sort of timing-based push. And it looks like we're going to have a +1 timing here from Siege. Once those two medevacs are done, or even before them, it looks like, I guess those medevacs can catch up pretty easily. But these units are going to head out here. Actually scan that observer. So Milo knows what's going on. As you can see, he's getting out some Immortals. He should be chrono boosting them, I hope. No, actually it's not chrono. I feel like you really need to chrono boost a lot of them out right now. And that double forge is very... I know he put them down before he's seen the units there, but that's still very very risky. Like, that's a lot of money being devoted to upgrades right now. And this siege tank push is going to commence. One of them does go down on the low ground. We got on the high ground there. One of the Immortal Shields actually getting triggered right then. And Siege could come in here and just pick off some units here and there. And those siege tanks are just going to help support. I feel like he could move one of them up here and just kind of create a rift between the bases. And I see Sync shots getting off there, and a couple of these stalkers, a lot of them very low right now. And I feel like Siege should be aggressively moving his tanks forward a bit here. He really doesn't have to be so patient. And Blink right on top of the bio, not a risky Blink to say the least. A lot of these Immortals have remained though. They are going to start to pick away at these siege tanks. Only one of the Immortal shields has gone down. Finally, both of them will lose their shields, so they are going to be vulnerable for a bit here. But they did kill a lot of the bio and one of the tanks right away. So does Siege have enough to continue with this push? He has a lot of army supply in the field, but a lot of it's in these medevacs, and a lot of it's also in units that are heading across the map. These units are starting to get a bit brittle here for Milo. Another Immortal goes down. That's very unfortunate there. He wants to keep as many of those alive as he can. Siege gonna continue to push in here to this base, chunking away some Zealots, but they are gonna get healed by those shield batteries. And those siege tanks not really doing the most work here. They're killing a couple units here and there. But I feel like they're just a bit too far away to really be useful. I think he could have gotten such a better position earlier on. But now he just doesn't have the bio to force that position. He has 1-1, which is great. But now Milo's Gambit has paid off. He has +1/+1. What else does he have? He has charge too, so charge slots are going to be extremely strong versus this siege tank push. Alright, and really nice pick off here. A couple of these Marauders killing one of these Immortals as they pop, but he will lose a medevac for this. And he's not even continuing to produce siege tanks. Look like he just stopped at the 2 that he has there. I mean, he has a lot of gas. I feel like he could definitely afford to spend more money getting some more tanks, but still, this is a tough force here for Milo to fight with. Doesn't have Storm just yet. There's the Templar Archives on the way. That High Templar is so exposed. That could die so quickly. Especially siege tanks. Like, siege tanks, sorry, just rip right through High Templars. Okay, so he's making an Archon. Archons are not bad versus Terran. They're very tanky. And I think that's kind of what he needs right now, is just a bit of a buffer. Looks like Siege is going to try to pick away at this Nexus. These siege tanks are going to just poke away at the sides here. And it will force Siege to pull back here. One of these medevacs are actually very low. These medevacs could go down quite easily here. And then Milo would have Siege stuck here. A couple wood mines coming up to burrow. Now, behind this, Siege has gotten a third base up. So this aggression isn't just all in. He has managed to macro behind this. But it's still going to be tough for... for Siege to progress here, as he's traded a lot of his units away. Now, he has been a lot more cost efficient, actually, now that we look at the numbers there. But he is going to continue to lose some units here and there. These siege tanks are being so key. Like, I guess I criticized his positioning with them before, but I guess for what he wants, he just wants to continue to gain some value, and he's fine trading some Marines and some Marauders. As long as the siege tanks can get some good connections there. So you can see the resources lost tab actually shows it's a bit more expensive here for Milo. And I think that's kind of echoed in the supply. Now, with these Liberators, 3 at a time coming out now, it's going to be really annoying for Milo to deal with, as he's prepared his entire army for dealing with this ground-based army. He doesn't have Tempest remotely on the way. He doesn't have a lot of Blink Stalkers because those aren't very good versus the tanks. He really needs to get right on top of all of these High Templars, on Liberators, sorry. He needs some Storms, but he doesn't have the energy. A lot of units going down here, and it looks like Siege will be able to clean this up. Some bio reinforcements are on the way here, and I think this is going to be the last engagement here. A pretty back and forth game, I feel. Siege just really laying on the aggression, and Milo just not able to handle that right now. And a lot more Blink Stalkers are going to go down. This is a lot of Liberators, and Milo wasn't prepared for this. He just doesn't have an answer. There's a lot of gateways, but he's no upgrades. He's ran out of gas here. He's pretty broke. 7 Zealots coming in now, but what he really needs is a lot of Blink Stalkers, and he does not have them. GG is going to be called. Siege going to take game number 1. Alright, so we're going to be getting into game 2 here very shortly. Alright. Now here we have, down in the bottom right side of the map, we have in the red playing Protoss. It is Milo. Did I? Oh yeah, I did. Actually, I turned the speed down a bit. Right. Now up in the top left, we have an Teal playing Terran. It is Siege. Interesting that they chose to switch colors in between sets here. And another gas first here from Siege. I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen the same Cyclone build. I personally really love those builds. I think they're very good. And Milo might be going for a bit more of an aggressive play this game, as he is getting 2 gases right off the bat. Not something you normally see, and you also don't normally see a pylon near your opponent's side of the map. So what sort of aggression is Milo going to put out here? Now Siege is SCV scouting this actually, so this could be a big deal. Because if Siege knows what's happening, it can really change how he decides to operate here. And if he sees it before he puts that expand down, then he's going to be in so much of a better position. We don't really know what it's going to be yet though, so obviously Siege won't know either. But he knows to be a bit more safe, and he knows he probably should check for some proxies. I think this could actually be a proxy Stargate. I think that makes most sense, yeah. That was really lucky of me to guess which one it was going to be. Oh my god, it's going to get found immediately. This Reaper looking for some proxies is going to kill that probe, and it might actually be able to unpower the pylon there. Yeah, I think this proxy is pretty much done for. Now, this isn't the end of the world. Like, yeah, this really sucks. For Milo, he's going to be behind because of this. But it's not the worst thing that could happen. I mean, Milo could also try to send out a probe to power this up again. But I think the time for doing that is a bit behind him. And he does cancel it at the last second. So he's going to keep the money there. And maybe, yeah, he's just going to be able to Stargate at home. Yeah, that sucks. You lose a lot of time and some resources, but what can you do, right? Now this Reaper's going to head across the map and try to find out what is next here. Because he obviously did notice that Milo did cancel the building. So we will see the very delayed expand there. And so Siege delayed his own expand from that as well. I think that was a bit of a misstep from him, but of course he didn't know what it was at first. So he's going to play safe. Oh, he just built on the low ground, sorry. I thought he was still on one base. So I was going to be like, Siege, like, what are you doing? But nope, that's fine. That Marine will pick off that pylon, and the Reaper even survived, so it's gonna be nice. You can use that later on to come in and scout ahead of his army. And Oracle on the way here for Milo. Of course, this definitely won't get as many kills as he would have hoped. Maybe the canceling of it actually might turn out in his favor. I'm not sure if Siege has gotten any missile turrets. No, he doesn't even have an eBay. Does he have any Widow Mines? No, he doesn't. So actually, with these Cyclones moving out, this Oracle can get some damage done. That's a bit unfortunate there for Siege that he didn't scout and find the Stargate follow-up to the proxy Stargate. eBay does go up now, but this Oracle is going to force a big worker pull. Not getting that many kills just yet. And it's going to force the Cyclones home as well, which is another big victory here for Milo. He does have a bunker at the front, so at least those SCVs will be safe for now, but this is a lot of lost mining time. Both mineral lines being pulled to the safety of that bunker. And it's forcing the Cyclones to come back too, which ideally Siege really doesn't want to do. And that's keeping Milo safe back at home. He's going to continue to be able to probe, build more and more units. But, of course, even though I think Siege is now a bit behind. His third CC is a lot later than his opponent's third base. He does have Stim and some Marines on the way, but it's, again, a bit late. If you're going for this build, I should say. I feel like this could have been happening a bit earlier, but that's fine. It's not a huge deal. Just another one of my minor nitpicks. And +1 is on the way, so we might see the same build actually that we've seen from last game. But I'm not sure if we're going to see the tanks. Actually, with Phoenix, I feel like he could have an easier time holding this. Especially if he goes for Charge Lock Phoenix. Did he? Oh, I think he all-armied there. I didn't even catch these Cyclones fighting over here. But these Cyclones get cleaned right the heck up. They didn't really kill much either. So this is going to be tough beans here for Siege. Now that these Cyclones are gone. Because these Cyclones are a lot of your early game investment. Like when you think about it, that's 300, 200 resources that you spent getting these Cyclones. That could have been a lot of things. That could have been, you know, like 3 Marauders. It could have been like 6 Marines. So that's a lot of commitment, especially in the early game. So right now, Siege is going to be a bit vulnerable. He did go for the 3x follow-up, with actually going for a 5x. So this is going to be a very aggressive game, especially off of 2 base. Siege really not looking to play that macro game versus Protoss. And I guess I don't really blame him sometimes. Especially if you're not feeling confident in your TVP, this is a really good way to take some wins. He's played a super aggressive style. He scans, he sees probably Colossus, like that. I guess, can you see over there? I thought it showed what those are building. Is it just a Stargate? Yeah, it's probably just a Stargate. I'm an idiot. But yeah, it is probably Colossus, you can safely assume. So this is a build that if you catch the Protoss army at a position, you can just take the game straight up. Milo's not going to have a lot of units. His Colossus are going to need to do a lot of heavy lifting here. They're not very good versus the Marauders, so he's going to need to make sure to keep them away from the Marauders. There's not a whole lot of them here for Siege, only 2 of them. And that's a lot of Marines. No combat shields yet either, so if these Colossus find good shots on these Marines, this army is going to be toast. But they don't have very good range. Siege is pushed in. He manages to take it one of the Colossus right away. But these Phoenix are going to make sure that Siege can't escape from this. He's going to lose a lot of his units here. All the medevacs going down. He will get a couple of Phoenix there for some consolation. But overall, that was a very botched push there from Siege. Might have wanted to wait for his combat shields to finish. Of course, he had no clue how many Colossus there were. Maybe he should have sent the Reaper a bit ahead. Just seeing where the units were. Especially like Marines take so much damage from Colossus. It's very tough to fight versus them. And Siege is only starting his 3rd command center now, so he's been at quite an eco disadvantage. You can see Milo's mining a lot more resources than him. Maybe these drops can get something done though. He has one coming in over here, another one coming in over here. Really nice use of the multi-pronged drops. Especially, he did clean up a couple of the Phoenix. I'd love to see him try to kill one of these upgrades here. That might be a good pickoff. Looks like he's only going to try to draw the army away for now. Maybe he wants some probe kills. He will be able to pick off this Colossus, actually. Nice micros playing some of these Marines. Bit of an overstim here, and eventually this whole army will get picked off. But 1 Colossus and a Pylon for 1 small drop, that's not a bad trade. Plus, he does force the army out of position, so he can kill some units over here. Unfortunately, these Phoenix are really going to stop this here if these Phoenix decide to chase. Boost does go down. A lot of these units getting dropped out. I felt like Milo could have kept pushing there, but I guess he doesn't know where the other units are. And there's somehow this Marauder still exists. I think I got another Pylon. Oh well, just a Pylon. And behind this, he just kept up some really nice production. His macro's been on point this whole game. He has this 3rd command center up finally, so his economy has stabilized. But his opponent's getting a 4th base, and he's getting Colossus, he's getting High Templars. Milo's progressing at a pretty good pace this game. Now, Siege has a pretty decent army. We're really going to see what he decides to do with this here. His worker count is actually pretty poor compared to the Protosses. And the Protoss is getting some pretty good upgrades right now too. Let's see. Yeah, Siege only on +1. He's really going to need to make use of these Liberators extensively if he wants to take some good fights. The Liberators do so much damage that they can almost even up for a lack of upgrades here. But you're going to really need to play a Liberator heavy style and force the Protoss into a really bad fight. So it's going to be tough for Siege to find those efficient fights that he needs to take. And this Protoss army isn't looking all that big, honestly. There's not a lot of beef to this army. It's just a lot of patty, you know? Or a lot of sauce, I guess is a better way to say that. Just a lot of High Templars, a lot of Colossus. And yeah, those do a lot of damage, but you really need something to, you know, take the damage here. Be that Zealots or Stalkers, what have you. That Liberator actually getting quite a few kills over there. Unfortunately for Milo, he kind of has to commit to this defense over here. Doesn't have a whole lot of Stalkers with this army, so these Liberators are actually going to do a really good job. Especially if he's able to pick off too many of these Phoenix. Colossus obviously do not fare well versus Liberators. And he has a good angle here on this army. He has a great concave. When he's Templar is actually getting picked off right up as soon as the fight starts. And finally, these Colossus are going to go to work on some of this bio here. Milo's just going to push right through. All the Liberators go down. And some Charge Loss are coming into the fight here as he is going to push Siege back. He has lost some probes at the third base, but the destruction of this army is not good news for Siege. So he's going to lose all of his medevacs here. His army having such a hard time retreating. And he keeps most of these Phoenix alive as well. And, oh my god, Milo maybe getting caught out of position here. Not a lot of units here to defend these Colossus, and they're all going to get taken down. Some Stalkers coming up from behind here. Some Templars coming into the fray as well. Will we see some Storms laying down on this army? Storm actually not even done. He just started researching it. I guess that's the theme for today, is going to be Forgotten Storms. But Milo does clean up that army despite being out of position. And it also made him realize, oh shit, I don't have Storm. He's going to research that now. But Siege getting up to 4 bases. And a Terran on 4 bases and a TVP is... That's when you're in your comfort zone, is when you get that 4th base. The Terran can kind of afford to build whatever type of army they'd like. However, it's hard to fight versus a Protoss army that's already established. He's going to get his... Ghosts. He's going to get advanced ballistics, so Liberators and Ghosts are going to be a welcome addition to his bio army, but he just hasn't been able to keep the units alive that he maybe needs for the upcoming fights here. Milo's force is going to push in towards this 3rd base. He has no clue about this drop over here, so maybe this drop can force him to pull back, or at the very least backstab and get some damage done. You can kind of see Siege committing to this like glass cannon style. He's only getting attack upgrades. He hasn't gotten his +3 yet. He can't afford it. He needs more Ghosts. He needs more Liberators. He kind of realizes that he can't catch up to the Protoss and upgrades, so he really needs the Ghosts and Liberators to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. The Planetary is going to be safe for now, as I don't think Milo really wants to commit. We have some Liberators sieging up there and some Ghosts. He's going to engage on this Planetary now. As Siege's army isn't in position, he has killed that 4th base, and those bio are heading straight to the 5th base. Or 3rd base, rather. A lot of probes going down, actually. And we do see a recall here from Milo. With these Phoenix, maybe he'll be able to pick this off. The Marines actually sniped one of the Phoenix. And with only 3 Phoenix, I feel like that's a lot less of a threat to these medevacs. Milo still has a very dominating army, though. That was a really nice attack from Siege. He actually saved the Planetary as well, so... really having this cake and eating it too here. Some Ghosts pop up here. They do have a lot of energy, so they can EMP on this army. A lot of EMPs go down, but the Templars were not in range. And not a lot of Stalkers here, but they do have some Archons, so they should be able to clean up these Liberators eventually. But a lot of High Templars actually going down. But a huge amount of Siege's army has been cleaned up. SCVs are being pulled to defend this 3rd base. This will be the last stand of Siege in this game. Liberators are set up here. Gonna get some good connects onto this Protoss army, but they're not gonna last long enough to get their value in. And Siege pulling back, desperately trying to hold his lines here. But there's just way too much here from the Protoss player, and that bunker will go down. Marauder's getting mowed down by these Colossus. +3/+3 on these units is going to be so devastating versus his Terran Bio army. And not enough power units here from Siege to hold on here. He is going to go down. So Milo going to tie up the series 1-1. Just give me a second here to get into our final game of this series. Alright, so our next map is going to be 16-bit. Loading in right now. So I think this is a map that, personally, as a Terran, I really like it versus Protoss, but I feel like Siege wouldn't like it very much versus Protoss. He kind of plays more of an aggressive style. Doesn't really like to turtle, doesn't like to play those longer games. So I can see Siege not really liking this map very much. But we have Siege's opponent spawning down here in the bottom left in the red. It is Milo. And up here we have in the top right, we have in the teal plain Terran. It is Siege. So pretty good set of games here from both these players. They're pretty evenly matched so far. And again, this is my first time watching Milo play, to my knowledge. So he's been playing pretty well. And judging by his border, he's only diamond, so Masters promo soon, I think. Alright, no proxy this game from Milo, only has the one gas. But he will be doing an early scoop. And it looks like Siege going for gas racks again. So this is a really nice base to get up a couple bases. Or a really nice map, sorry, to get up a couple bases. Generally, I would say like a macro-conducive map. So we're probably going to see just some standard defensive play here to Milo, trying to get up on maybe 3 or 4 bases. From Siege, though, I can't really see him wanting to play that longer game. So we're probably going to see what we have been seeing from him, which is like the aggressive like 2 base builds into a later third. And just like continued pressure. One adept coming out here from Milo. Going to use the Scout. I'm not sure if we've seen this in any of the previous games, actually. I think he normally just went for, like, adept and stalker. Nothing much to see just yet. Milo hasn't chosen his tech structure just yet. Looks like it's going to be the Robo. Which again, I think is kind of like an odd choice. It's like, I don't know. It's just like you can't do a whole lot with it in the early game as Protoss. You really have to be defensive when you go for this Robo. And yeah, the Robo is fine for being defensive, but I just like, I don't think it sets the pace for you. Like, it doesn't let you set the pace for your opponent. Like, you have to play defensive with the Robo. You can't play aggressive with it unless you go for like a charge lot all-in maybe or something like that. And this Reaper actually going to see everything up in the main. Sees a Robo, sees 3 gateways. So you should know everything's pretty standard here. If you see the Twilight, yeah, maybe there'd be something to worry about, but just a Robo on the gateways is really not a big concern. And it looks like we're actually going to have a Hellion drop here from Siege. I really like these builds too, actually. I think they're very strong. And something that Protoss doesn't really always expect. They don't expect these aggressive, like, drop builds so early on. Especially because, oh yeah, even proxy to starport. Wow, I can't believe I missed that. But yeah, these 4 Hellions are going to get a lot of damage done. There's absolutely nothing here at the natural mineral line. Medevac comes in, Hellions are going to come out. And they can start targeting down some probes. A lot of probes going down here already. And these Hellions, sorry, are able to get out just in time. Killing at least 8 probes there. Maybe just 7. I'm not sure if one died earlier. But that's actually really good damage for 8 Hellions this early in the game. It has actually put these Terran player ahead in workers, which like you'd never see happen this early in the game. Twilight Council is on the way here from our Protoss player, but just, again, a very defensive play. And I'm not quite sure I like it, to be honest. I just think it's way too passive and doesn't threaten the Terran enough. Like, the Terran could feel free to expand the free bases super quickly. They could feel free to harass you super quickly, like we've seen Siege doing in this game. Even getting a Banshee follow-up to this Hellion drop, sorry. And this Hellion drop actually going to come out in the main. Actually not going to be seen. Let's watch the player cam from Siege. I was like doing this. It's pretty cool just watching what they're doing. Alright, so he gets a couple probes and then he goes back. Chucks all of his buildings there. It's nice because I don't have to control the camera. It's actually going to bank up to 2 Banshees here. That's really nice because it's going to let his... sorry, the energy on it bank up a bit. The cloak is going to be done and he'll be able to one-shot the workers. And Milo's army is all the way down here too, so nothing going to be in the natural here to defend against these 2 Banshees, except for that 1 Stalker, but there's no detection here at the moment. And even if a shield battery in sight, the Banshees can just one-shot the workers, so the shield battery won't be able to heal them. And it looks like he actually recalled an observer. That's super smart of him. I wouldn't have even thought of that, and I'm super smart. I watch Rick and Morty. But yeah, one of these Banshees does go down, but a lot of probe kills have occurred, and more even in the main. Milo down to a dangerously low amount of probes. I can't believe how many probes these Hellions have gotten. At least like 10 from that. Yeah, 35 probes have gone down in total. Holy crap. That is a tremendous lead here for Siege. And like, if Milo sees this worker count, like, I would just think about GGing right here. Especially if this follow-up push, he's just not going to be able to afford enough units to defend this. Stim is almost done. No medevacs with this push, though. And just this push, I feel like, is going to be the nail in the coffin for Milo. Doesn't have a whole lot of units here. Only a couple of Stalkers and 1 Immortal. So we'll see Siege Tank set up in a good spot. Even Hellbats added in the mix here. Don't see those a whole lot versus Protoss. 1 medevac here, and this Terran army is just going to clean house here. That immortal going down. All these units going to get destroyed here. GG is going to be called. Milo going to tap out. Siege going to take a 2-1 victory here. Alright, now we're going to be going into our winner set. It's going to be Siege versus White Ninja. Just 1 second here. Alright, so we're going to be loading into our first game here between White Ninja and Siege. So I feel like this is probably going to be a White Ninja victory. I'm going to predict that. And it's going to be on Acid Plant. So not a bad map for either side. I feel like this is a fairly balanced map. Maybe someone will disagree. I don't know. And we're going to start off here in the bottom right side of the map. We have in the pink, it is White Ninja. And in the upper left, we have in a teal playing Tyranid Siege. Alright, both these pairs kind of opening pretty standard so far. Not a whole lot that I can really discern just yet. Again, White Ninja is a player I feel like he plays very standard. He kind of has his own brand of standard, mind you. Like, as I said, he's not, like, the most involved in the scene. Like, he plays and he's very good, but he's not, like... He's not one of these guys that stays up every day and watches every single tournament, like, you know, us. Or like me, I guess I should say. I watch every single tournament. But he just, like, knows how to play RTS. He just, like, has a mind for this. And he's very good at it. Of course, he does watch some stuff and kind of knows what's meta. Obviously, he plays the game. But still, so we're not going to see, like, the most meta things. Like, we're not going to see whatever is trending right now on the build order websites, whatever those are. It's just going to be whatever White Ninja likes to do, pretty much. And Factory come down here from Siege. Looks like he's going to be doing the Cyclone build again. Maybe? Or, I don't see a proxied starport, so probably not going to be the Hellion build. But I think this is, overall, like, it's just a good build. No reason to stop. Alright, and the Stargate opener here from White Ninja. This is decently common in PVT. It's not the most common opener. I feel like we see Twilight a lot more often now. But Stargate's still perfectly acceptable. It's a fine thing to get. Oracles are always good. Tags are always good. From the Oracles. And of course, Phoenix can be really good at shutting down the Cyclone build, actually. Like, if you have 2 Phoenix and a couple Stalkers, or a couple, I guess not really out of Stalkers is ideally what you want, but you're going to be perfectly fine trying to deal with all these Cyclones, because there's only going to be 2 of them, and then 2 Hellions that follow it up. So really, as long as you stop the Cyclones, and then are able to clean them up in decent time to kill those Cyclones before, or sorry, if you lift up the Cyclones, kill the Hellions, and then move on to the Cyclones, it's going to be fine. Because you're probably going to have enough units to deal with that. And White Ninja should have seen this coming, as Adept did die to these Cyclones. So you should know what's up. So this is very popular in the ladder, that there's any way that White Ninja hasn't seen this before. And we have another shield better here. There's only a couple of Adepts actually here to deal with this. So these Phoenix are going to fly in. They're going to pick up 1, which is very good, as he doesn't have the DPS from some extra Stalkers to really help out with this. And in the main, these Hellions are going to work on some of these probes. A lot of probes going down, actually. 7 in total so far. 9. Excuse me. So overall, that was a pretty decent trade, actually, for Siege. God, I got the hiccups now. Sorry. Sorry about that, I was just getting rid of my hiccups. It should be good now. But yeah, these Phoenix are going to be super key here. He's going to get so much scouting information from them. Now, White Ninja is behind a bit economically. It's not like a huge setback. He did lose a decent amount of probes though. The thing is, like, Siege has to follow this up with some more damage. So this is good and all, what he does. He gets some damage, and this makes his follow-up push a lot stronger, because his opponent has to commit to revamping their economy, or else they'll lose in a straight-up macro game. But White Ninja sees what's coming up. He knows he just has to defend his 3 bases whenever he decides to get his 3rd. The timing for it should be up shortly here. Normally the Protoss gets it between 5:30 and 6 minutes. So White Ninja probably just actually going to be a bit more defensive here. He can survive off of 2 bases, don't get me wrong. Especially if all the damage he's done to the economy of Siege with these Phoenix. Let's see. He's killed 4 or 5 workers, so that's pretty good. And he's forced some missile turrets too. Like, I don't think Siege wanted to make all of these, but of course he has to, or else he's going to lose a lot more workers to these Phoenix than he needs to. Especially because his opponent's massing them. And a super nice pick off there, possibly, from that Phoenix. They didn't manage to kill that tank. But they forced a stim here, actually. Siege, I think that was a bit mistimed. He doesn't have any medevacs. So that stim is permanent. All those units are not going to be able to be healed. And this is going to make this push so much less scary here from Siege. Especially now that we have the Colossus on the way. It's going to be Phoenix Colossus, I guess. And finally, we have a 3rd base here coming down from White Ninja. So he's playing very, very safe. Really doesn't want to take any more risks than he needs to. Siege scanning that base, sees nothing there. There's no medevacs with this army, so this force could get cleaned up quite easily, actually. And I think Siege Siege really needed to stay home. The two Siege tanks are going to get caught out there. A couple of the Phoenix go down, and they will be able to stim in and kill that Colossus. But it has done its job. It's softened up so many of those Marines. Nothing to heal those up here. And even though they are able to kill a decent amount of these units here, he did kill an Immortal, killed some Stalkers, killed the Colossus. He didn't stop this third base from finishing. And that's what he needed to do with this push. But he wasn't able to kill that. And his own third base is so far delayed from this. It's not like, you know, leaps and bounds behind, but he's, you know, definitely at a tempo disadvantage here. He's going to have to make something happen here if he wants to progress into that later game on an even footing. And he's even managed to keep all these Phoenix alive for quite a while. So it's going to allow him so much more versatility in the late game. As these Phoenix are super good at shutting down drops, at, you know, scouting what the army comp is, where the army is, which is a huge deal in TVP. You really want to know where that Terran army is at all times, if you can. And he's even continuing to make Phoenix and getting air upgrades as well. So he is going for Phoenix Colossus, which is very interesting. It's not really a style you see that much anymore. Especially, like, maybe you use this on the Australian server, but I feel like this really isn't the style you need to use. It's kind of made for playing with bad ping. It wasn't really made because it was a great style. It was just easy to control. And actually, Siege is ahead in upgrades right now versus his opponent. I just realized that now. White Ninja delayed his own upgrades for quite a while just to get out some Marine nuts, I guess. And Siege is not far behind him, honestly. Like, he has this +2/+2 started. I feel like Siege doesn't need to be aggressive here. His opponent's wasting a lot of resources on Phoenix, which honestly I feel like are not super strong in this matchup. Like, if Siege just got a 4th base up, kept macroing, kept producing, like, he's going to be fine. His opponent's going to get his Templar Archives out soon. Yeah, maybe Siege can push in here. He just needs a bit more Marauders and maybe some more Medivacs. He's going to stim in here. A lot of these charge lots going to tank for the Colossus. This Colossus doing huge damage on this ball of Marines. And this Bio Army just gets completely shredded here. A bit of a botched engagement there. Didn't split his Marines enough, and those Colossus are just so good at destroying Club Marines nowadays that you just can't afford to take any losses to them if you're mostly Marines. And this will secure White Ninja's 4th base, because he no longer has to worry about that army. Siege still only on 3 bases. His production is going really well, like he has enough production off of 3 bases to handle White Ninja. But he just doesn't have the economy necessarily to match. Plus his army has suffered tremendous losses. He's going to need to keep producing here if he wants to stay, you know, toe-to-toe here. Alright, and these Colossus are coming in from the middle. There's not a lot of medevacs with this army right now. I'm not sure if we have any, actually. Only one medevac on the map. Don't know where that is. Alright, but looks like we'll have the engage here. SVs are pulled to try to help out. These units are pretty clumped up here. These Colossus are doing a lot of damage to these Marauders and these Marines. And these Phoenix are just lifting up everything in sight. And it looks like White Ninja's army, sorry, is going to push up here. Siege Check and a bunker are here, but those Phoenix and the Colossus will pick off just about everything. And that looks like it will be the end of the game here for our Terran player. He's desperately trying to hold on, but I feel like these Colossus here are just a bit too much. GG is going to be called. And White Ninja taking game number 1. In a very safe fashion. He really likes to, I don't want to say wait, but really likes to play super safe. Alright, so we'll be getting into our next game in just a minute here. Alright, so our next game is going to be on Lost and Found. Lost and Found, I really didn't like this map when the Ladder Pro released. But honestly, it's a dang good map. Alright. So starting us off here in the top right, we have in the pink, it is White Ninja. And in the bottom left in the teal, it is Siege. Now, very early probe scout. Gus just wants to make sure he's not getting proxied. As I feel like in this new like Maru TVP meta, proxies are so common. Like we see Maru and like all these other Korean Terrans doing it like every other game versus Protoss. Like it's just proxy city. So you really want to be on the lookout here for proxies in this matchup. And honestly, just getting that quick probe scout off is like always good. The probe can be super annoying to the Terran. Can maybe even if you're lucky enough get a worker kill. Just gotta wait for shields to recover there before it can go back in and be annoying. But it will be standard play from both sides so far. See, Nexus going up. Reaper coming out. And White Ninja keeping his probe over here. Probably going to do a delayed scout. I don't think he's going to build a proxy pylon. Maybe he will. Nope. I think I was hoping to time that so it came in right when the Reaper left, but unfortunately for him, the Reaper comes out maybe a bit late, I'm not sure, but comes in at just the right time to kill it. Siege's Reaper gonna hippity-hoppity his way across the map. Gonna be greeted by an Adept when he gets there. And choice of tech is Stargate. So Siege's Reaper will come in here. Might actually get a kill or two. That's one. And he's just going to pull his Reaper out of here. Maybe get some scouting information later. It's always good if you can keep this Reaper alive. A lot of times it just dies after the initial scout if the Protoss has their units positioned in the right way. But like if you can get it out, it's super nice. It lets you scale what the follow-up is. If they're going to a third base, are they building probes? Are they getting all their gases? Like, what's going on? Assuming you can keep it alive for that long. You can also just come in here and sack it for a worker killer too. Unfortunately, not able to get another one, but... And he doesn't even get the scout that it will be Phoenix. Of course, considering last game, he might just know, hey, this is Phoenix. He went for Phoenix last game. And with Siege going for this 2 Cyclone 2 Hellion push, again, I feel like now that he knows there's a Stargate, he should just stay back. No point in sending your units across the map, they're just gonna die. Like last game, he was able to get a decent amount of workers, but I feel like White Ninja is going to adapt to that. He's going to defend it this time. It's probably best to just stay back at home. I wouldn't even make those Hellions if I were him, to be honest. And these two Adepts actually going to be really annoying here for White Ninja. Actually going to be able to fight with these Hellions. Going to kill both of them. Or kill one of them for now. Will they be able to find the other one? Maybe just trade some for worker kills now. But meanwhile, on the other side of the maps, these Cyclones are coming in here. One Cyclone versus one Phoenix. Not the greatest of fights. And these Cyclones are actually going to get a decent amount of probe kills. They're actually not the best at killing workers, because like they fire really quickly, but they have high DPS but low like single target damage, if that makes sense. So it's like two of them aren't going to kill a whole lot of workers. Like they killed 5 or 4 there in total, I guess. Or well, no, there would have been 3 in total because he got 2 worker kills with the Reaper. So really not that great. And that's again, as I said, like Cyclones are quite expensive. And it looks like he actually built more Hellions. These are going to get cleaned up. Hellions die surprisingly quickly to Phoenix, actually. Can these Hellions find any damage? These 2 Stalkers probably going to say no to that. Should be able to pick off most of these units. These 2 Hellions will get into the main base, so really nice pick off there actually from White Ninja, grabbing that Phoenix as soon as it spawns. And really just solid defense there, shutting down all of the aggression here from Siege. He is still on free base. Like, as I said, normally you see the Protoss expand at that like 5:30, 6-minute mark. But White Ninja likes to play this like 2-base defensive style where he doesn't expand until he feels super comfortable. He gets out a lot more units, wants to be a lot more present on the map. And he's going to come over here and he's going to just deny some of the Marines here from Siege. If you can cut that unit count down right now, then he's going to be in a pretty good spot. He has some Stalkers coming with him here. He doesn't have Blink, but still, these Marines are unupgraded. Stim is a long ways away. And big Widowmine head actually killing one of these Phoenix. And that +1 is actually going to be denied, so super nice play here from White Ninja. Going to kill that eBay. And again, he's playing very, very safe. Gonna get a Widowmine as well. So a lot of Marines though. He can't be too bold. He's gonna need to head back a bit, and he doesn't have an observer with this army either, so it means that Widowmine will get a shot off on something if White Ninja allows it to. He will pull back for now. And Siege has good production up. Accidentally building the Reaper there. I do that a lot, god. That is like something that kills me whenever I see it, because it's such a waste of money later on. Like, you really want that 50 gas in Liberators or upgrades or something. You really do not want that. But that was a really nice aggression there from White Ninja. He didn't lose a lot. He lost like 1 Phoenix for his troubles, and he killed it. Some Marines, a depot, he denied +1. And we don't even see an Ebo, Jesus Christ, eBay on the way for Siege just yet. So, oh, he actually had one completed, he just wasn't using it. But still, this is only going to be 1 upgrade at a time. So this can be rough. A couple of these Phoenix getting picked off, they will pick off a medevac. But I don't know how many of them just died there. And I think trading those Phoenix for that medevac is actually good. Because if Siege has a medevac with this push is so much stronger. Like, he can do so much more with it. Especially versus the lower army count here of his opponent. There's really, like, not a whole lot of utility here for this this army. This Colossus will arrive, and that will be a saving grace. But no blink, no charge, and actually a bit of a move command there. Takes a hit from the Colossus before he even responds there. Widowmines are going down. Don't know if we do have, nope, that's not an observer, I'm stupid. We don't have an observer in place here either. But still, this army of Siege really isn't going to accomplish a whole lot. He really needs to just back off and keep these units alive for later on. He has a third base on the way, like, just head home. Like, you're not going to find any damage here. He doesn't have medevacs up this either, like, these... oh my god, no. And he stims in here. This Colossus doing so much damage if it's +1. Widowmines are going to get some shots off, and the Zerver will finally come here, and this army of Siege is going to get cleaned right up. And no retreat here, as this Phoenix will stomp out the aggression here. And I think this actually might just be a straight kill here with the counterattack here from White Ninja. We do have some Widowmines going off here, and there is a bunker, but that's a lot of Phoenix, that's a lot of Stalkers, and that Colossus is doing so damn much here versus all these light units. It's going to be able to pick off so many kills. And just Siege continuing to lose more and more. Medevacs are going down due to these Phoenix. I think, at the very least, he can deny that third. And this has been a really effective counterattack here from White Ninja. He's on 3 bases of his own, and he's going up to a 4th just now, as he is safe to take one. Gonna pick off some missile turrets there. And just not enough units here really to hold on. If White Ninja decides to push in, he can get a lot more SCV kills. I think he can just clean up the entire army here. But he's going to stake the safe route here. He realizes he has 4 bases. He can just go home and defend. And he's going to be at a significant macro advantage here. And he can just max out and go attack if he wants. Oh, we actually have a drop here at the base. I didn't even notice this. We'll pick off a Colossus, but everything will die here. I'm not sure if that drop was worth it. Looked like at least 2 medevacs worth of units, so... Yeah, killing that Colossus is nice, but... just a bit max. What are you, fucking hoser? That wasn't a very good Canadian accent. Just give me a second here to get prepared for a good Canadian impression. These Phoenix are a bunch of hosers, dude. I can do a really good one sometimes. Like I sound just like those guys from fuck was that show? I guess you guys would know about it. Maybe Americans would, I don't know. Anyways, there's this show that these guys did, like, that Northern Ontario accent. And they just, like, overplayed the hell out of it. It was like a Saturday Night Live type of show. No, it wasn't Trailer Park Boys. Fuck, what's it called? I'm gonna have to search that up after I'm done cussing. But anyways. These Phoenix are gonna come in here and they're gonna pick up a lot of workers here. I think he actually had them clicked on the missile turret, even though the Phoenix can't really damage that. A lot of them going down for not a whole lot of value here, but I mean, just any worker kills I can get is just like spitting on Siege's corpse at this point. He's getting this through 3 weapons and armor right as the Terran's getting his 2-2. This is going to be a rough fight. A lot of Colossus marching across the map here. And this army from the Protoss is just looking absolutely destructive here. And Siege is falling into, like, this pit I see a lot of players go for in a lot of matchups where they just kind of, like, they lose that air dominance and they just stop making medevacs. And that hurts your Bioforce so much. You need that support, you need that healing. And this huge Bio Ball is going to get completely obliterated. Lasers of White Ninja Colossus just raining down death upon this army. And that should be the game here, folks. Some more Bio is running in, but they're just lambs to the slaughter. And GG is called. And White Ninja going to take the first place out of this group. So it's going to put Siege down to the losers bracket, which I think I'm going to cast on tomorrow. Voice is getting kind of sore. It's been like 2 hours. It's been about 2 hours and my voice is getting sore, eh? But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Thanks for anyone who watched. I'll make sure to do the other ones tomorrow, maybe, or maybe the day after. I don't know. Alright, but thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.